The gunshot echoed through the penthouse like the end of everything. Destiny froze in the hallway. Isaiah clutched against her chest. The sound came from the living room, sharp, final, impossible to mistake for anything else. Min Soo, her security guard, had been checking the perimeter. He'd waved at her through the window 30 seconds ago. Now there was only silence. Isaiah began to whimper, sensing her terror. "Shh, baby," she whispered, backing toward the bedroom. "Shh, please." The living room door opened. A woman stepped through. Mid-50s, elegant in a way that spoke of old money and older power. Designer hanbok, perfectly styled hair, jewelry that could fund a small hospital. Behind her, 3 men in dark suits. Behind them, Min Soo's body on the floor. "Miss Cole." The woman's voice was cultured, calm, like they were meeting for tea. "My name is Grandmother Bayek. We need to talk about your son." Destiny's back hit the wall. "Stay away from us." "That's not how this works." Grandmother Beck moved into the hallway with measured steps. "You've been playing house with Chairman Shin's heir. That stops today." "Taewoo will..." "Chairman Shin is currently in a meeting. A very long meeting." Her smile was thin. "He won't be available for some time, which gives us the opportunity to have a conversation. Woman to woman. Mother to mother." "You killed..." Destiny's voice broke, looking at Min Soo's body. He refused to step aside. That was his choice. Grandmother Beck gestured to her men. "You have a choice too. Come with us peacefully, answer our questions, and your son stays safe. Or we do this the difficult way, and..." She paused, her eyes on Isaiah. Children are so fragile at this age, anything could happen. Destiny's arms tightened around Isaiah. Every maternal instinct screamed to fight, to run, to do something. But she was one woman against 4 people. One of them had already killed without hesitation, and Isaiah was 4 months old. "What do you want?" "I want you to come with me. Now." Destiny looked at Min Soo one last time. Looked at the panic room door 15 feet away that might as well have been a mile. Looked at her son. "Okay. Wise decision." Grandmother Beck turned to her men. "Bring her." Welcome back to Soul Heart Stories. If you watched part 1, you know Destiny's world exploded when she had Isaiah. But what happens when the real power brokers decide she doesn't belong? When they come for her son? Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button, because this story is about to test everything Destiny thinks she knows about strength, survival, and what it means to be a mother in a world that wants to break her. Let's get into it. The car ride took 2 hours. They left Seoul behind, drove south along the coast, took a ferry Destiny didn't know existed. The men didn't speak. Grandmother Bayek sat across from her, occasionally checking her phone, completely unbothered by the fact that she'd just ordered someone killed. Isaiah fell asleep in Destiny's arms. She envied him that innocence. Finally, they arrived at an island. Private, heavily guarded. The kind of place that didn't exist on maps. The main building was stunning. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern luxury. Gardens that belonged in magazines. Views that would be breathtaking if Destiny wasn't terrified. "Welcome to Haneul Island," Grandmother Beck said as they entered. "Home of the family consortium." "What is that?" "The 7 families that control Korea's luxury hospitality industry. We own everything that matters. Resorts, hotels, entertainment venues, the properties where power brokers vacation and deals are made." She led Destiny down a corridor lined with portraits. "We've maintained control for 3 generations. We don't allow outsiders to threaten that." "I'm not threatening anything. You're carrying Chairman Shin's heir. That makes you the biggest threat we've seen in 20 years. They reached a set of massive doors. Grandmother Beck pushed them open. The room beyond looked like a courtroom designed by someone with unlimited funds and no accountability. 7 chairs arranged in a semicircle, each occupied by someone who radiated authority. Old women, mostly. A few men. Korean, Chinese, Japanese. A United Nations of hospitality empire builders. All of them looking at Destiny like she was something that crawled out from under a rock. "Bring the child forward," a woman on the left commanded. Older, sharp-featured, wearing traditional dress that probably cost more than Destiny earned in 5 years. Destiny's arms tightened around Isaiah. "No. That wasn't a request." "I don't care." Destiny's voice shook but held. "You want to see him? You can see him from there." Silence. Then Grandmother Beck laughed. "She has spine. I'll give her that." She moved to take her seat in the center. "Very well. Keep the child. For now." The woman on the left leaned forward. "State your full name." "You already know my name." "Answer the question." "Destiny Marie Cole." "Age?" 27. Occupation before you seduced Chairman Shin? The word seduced hit like a slap. I was his executive assistant. I never seduced anyone. So you claim. Another voice, male this time, heavy with disdain. Yet here you are, carrying his child after a convenient arrangement that gave you millions of dollars. It wasn't convenient. It was... Destiny stopped. What could she say? That it was desperate? That it was a transaction that became something else? That she loved Taewoo? They'd never believe her. Director Park. Grandmother Beck's voice cut through. Let's not waste time on interrogation. We know the facts. What we need to determine is what to do about them. What to do? Destiny's stomach dropped. Isaiah is Taewoo's son. That's not up for debate. The child's paternity isn't the issue. Grandmother Bayek settled into her chair. The issue is legitimacy, succession. Whether we can accept an heir born from... She paused delicately. Such unconventional circumstances. You mean because I'm black? The room went very quiet. Because you're an outsider, another woman corrected coldly. Someone with no family connections, no business experience, no understanding of our world. Your race is irrelevant. Then why does it feel like it's the first thing everyone sees? Perception, Grandmother Bayek said simply, is reality in our world. And the perception is that Chairman Shin allowed desperation to compromise his judgment. Or maybe, Destiny said carefully, the perception is that he did what he had to do after his wife betrayed him. Maybe the perception should be that he chose someone loyal over someone who was actively trying to destroy him. One of the men, younger, maybe mid-40s, smiled slightly. She's sharper than expected. Sharp doesn't make her suitable, another woman snapped. Grandmother Beck raised her hand. Instant silence. Here's our situation, Miss Cole. Chairman Shin controls the largest resort network in our consortium. His properties are profitable, well-managed, and strategically valuable. We've allowed him significant independence because he delivers results. Then what's the problem? The problem is succession. The problem is that 7 families here have daughters, nieces, cousins, who are being considered for alliance marriages with Chairman Shin. Partnerships that would have strengthened bonds between our organizations. Her eyes hardened. Instead, he divorced his wife and impregnated an employee. You can understand our concern. He divorced his wife because she was sabotaging his ability to have an heir. So he claims, conveniently after the fact. Destiny felt rage building. It's not convenient, it's the truth, and Isaiah... She looked down at her sleeping son. Isaiah is real. He's Taewoo's legacy. You can accept that or not, but it doesn't change reality. Bold words. Grandmother Beck studied her. But boldness without wisdom is just recklessness. Do you have any idea what you've done? You've made Chairman Shin vulnerable, given his enemies a target, created complications that could tear apart everything we've built. Then maybe what you've built needs to change. The room erupted. Voices raised. Accusations flew. Someone called her arrogant. Someone else called her delusional. Grandmother Bayek's voice cut through like a blade. Enough! Instant silence again. She stood slowly, walked down from her elevated position, approached Destiny directly. Give me the child. No? I'm not asking. I don't care. Destiny's heart hammered. You want to see him? You can look. But I'm not handing him over. Grandmother Beck stopped inches away, studying Destiny's face. Then, to everyone's shock, she smiled. You're terrified. I can see it in your eyes. But you're not backing down. She looked at Isaiah. May I? It was the first time anyone had asked instead of demanded. Destiny hesitated, then carefully angled Isaiah so the old woman could see his face. Isaiah chose that moment to wake up. He looked at Grandmother Bayek with wide, curious eyes. Taewoo's eyes. He has the Shin eyes, Grandmother Beck said softly. 3 generations. I knew his great-grandfather. She reached out one finger. Isaiah grabbed it with his tiny hand. Strong grip. She looked back at Destiny. The child is legitimate. I can see it. He carries the bloodline. Relief nearly buckled Destiny's knees. However... And the relief evaporated. Bloodline isn't enough. We must consider what kind of heir he'll become. What influences will shape him. Whether his mother can survive in our world, or if she'll become a liability that gets them both killed. I'll protect him, whatever it takes. Will you? Grandmother Beck released Isaiah's hand, walked back to her seat. Will you learn to navigate our politics, master our customs, make the difficult choices when the time comes? What kind of choices? The kind that separates survivors from casualties. She settled into her chair. Here's the consortium's decision. We will recognize Isaiah Shin as Chairman Shin's legitimate heir, with conditions. Destiny's throat tightened. What conditions? First, DNA verification. Independent lab. No room for doubt. Fine. Second, you undergo training. If you're going to be the mother of a resort empire heir, you need to understand our world, our rules, our methods. Grandmother Bayek's eyes glinted. Everything from business protocol to self-defense, from financial management to, let's call it, conflict resolution. What kind of training? The kind that ensures you're an asset, not a weakness. You'll be educated by instructors we assign. You'll learn what you need to survive. Destiny's mind raced. And if I refuse? Then Isaiah is removed from your custody, raised by people we trust. You'll receive generous compensation and live comfortably anywhere in the world you choose. Grandmother Beck paused. But you'll never see your son again. The room spun. You can't do that. We can do whatever serves the consortium's interests. The younger man who'd smiled earlier leaned forward. That's what power means, Miss Cole. Third condition, Grandmother Bayek continued. You and Chairman Shin will formalize your relationship, not marriage. His divorce is too recent, but a recognized partnership. No ambiguity, no scandal. Does Taewoo even know about this? Chairman Shin's input was considered, and overruled. She smiled thinly. He created this situation. We're resolving it. Fourth, Isaiah will be educated about all 7 families. He'll understand that his loyalty is to the consortium, not just to the Shin Empire. We've seen what happens when heirs become tyrants. We won't repeat that mistake. You want to brainwash my son? We want to ensure he doesn't become a monster. Grandmother Beck's voice hardened. We want him to understand that power comes with responsibility, that he serves something larger than himself. Destiny's arms tightened around Isaiah. This was insane. They were talking about controlling her son's entire future. Final condition. Grandmother Bayek's eyes locked onto hers. You will be tested. Not today, not tomorrow. But someday, when you least expect it, you'll face a choice. That choice will determine whether you truly belong here or whether you're just pretending. What kind of test? If we told you, it wouldn't be a test. Her smile was terrifying. But know this. Failure means someone dies. You, Chairman Shin, or Isaiah. The consortium decides which. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. So, Grandmother Beck said, what's your answer? Will you accept our conditions and fight for your place here? Or will you take the money and run? Destiny looked down at Isaiah. He'd fallen back asleep, completely unaware his entire future was being decided in this moment. She thought about her father in Seattle, finally getting treatment because of this impossible arrangement. She thought about the life she'd left behind, the struggle, the helplessness, the endless hustle just to survive. She thought about Taewoo's face when he held Isaiah for the first time, the way his world realigned around this tiny life. And she thought about what kind of mother she wanted to be. One who ran when things got hard, or one who stood and fought, no matter how terrifying the cost. I accept. Grandmother Beck nodded slowly. Good. Your training begins tomorrow. When can I see Taewoo? When we decide you're ready. Until then, you and Isaiah remain here, under our protection. You mean, under guard? Protection, guard. The distinction is irrelevant. The woman on the left stood. There are people who would kill you both to destabilize Chairman Shin. Here, you're untouchable. He won't accept this. He already has. Grandmother Beck's smile returned. After we convinced him cooperation was in everyone's best interest. Destiny's blood ran cold. What did you do to him? Nothing permanent, but he needed to understand that his son's future depends on his ability to work with us, not against us. Choose your next words carefully, Grandmother Beck warned. You just agreed to our conditions. Don't make me regret accepting you. The doors opened. 2 women entered. One was young, maybe late 20s, fit like an athlete. The other was older, stern-faced, carrying herself like military. Miss Cole, Grandmother Beck said. Meet your instructors. Jean handles physical training and security. Dr. Huang handles everything else. They'll live with you, train you, and report your progress directly to me. Starting when? Destiny's voice cracked. Starting now. Jen stepped forward. I'll take the baby. There's a nursery prepared. No. Destiny pulled Isaiah closer. He stays with me. That's not how this works, Dr. Huang said coldly. Training requires focus. The child will be cared for. I don't care how it works. You want my cooperation? Fine, but my son doesn't leave my sight. Grandmother Beck studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Very well, the child stays with you during training, but understand, this makes everything harder. I don't care. You will. She waved her hand dismissively. Take her, begin preparation. We have 3 months until the formal recognition ceremony. She needs to be ready. Jian and Dr. Huang flanked Destiny, guiding her toward a different exit. As she left, Grandmother Bayek's voice followed her one last time. Welcome to the consortium, Miss Cole. Try not to disappoint us. We so rarely give second chances. If you're still watching, hit that like button and drop a comment. Would you accept the consortium's conditions, or would you take the money and run? Because what Destiny's about to go through will test everything she thinks she knows about herself. The next 8 weeks were hell. Destiny woke at 4:30 every morning to Jean's voice cutting through the darkness. Up. Now. You have 60 seconds. She'd stumble out of bed, check Isaiah in his crib, throw on workout clothes before Jian dragged her to the training facility. The physical training was brutal. Self-defense, weapons training, endurance exercises that left her gasping and crying. Jian showed no mercy. In this world, hesitation gets you killed, she'd say, landing another strike that Destiny barely blocked. Your son needs a mother who can protect him, not one who freezes when danger comes. After 3 hours of physical torture, Dr. Huang would take over. Business protocol, how to read financial statements, the history of each family in the consortium, Korean and Japanese business customs, everything a resort empire partner needed to know. You think this is about etiquette? Dr. Huang snapped when Destiny fumbled during a mock business dinner. This is about not embarrassing Chairman Shin. One mistake at a formal event undermines his position. Weak partners don't last long here. The only breaks Destiny got were to feed Isaiah, change him, steal precious moments watching him sleep. He was growing so fast, already smiling, reaching for things, completely unaware his mother was being forged into something she never wanted to become. 3 weeks in, Jian brought her to the shooting range. No. Destiny backed away from the gun on the table. I'm not doing this. You don't have a choice. I'm not becoming a killer. You're becoming a survivor. Jian picked up the compact pistol, held it out. This isn't about killing for sport. This is about protecting yourself and Isaiah when security can't. I'll run. I'll hide. And if you can't? If they're faster? If there's nowhere to go? Jian's voice softened slightly. I know you don't want this, but needing and wanting are different things. Isaiah needs you to have this skill. Destiny's hands shook as she took the weapon. It was heavier than she expected. Cold. First lesson, Jian said. Respect the weapon. It's not a toy. It's a tool that takes lives. Every time you pick it up, you acknowledge that responsibility. They spent hours at the range. By the end, Destiny's ears rang despite the protection. Her arms ached. She'd hit the target more often than not. She hated every second. But she couldn't deny the small sense of security it provided. At night, alone in her room with Isaiah sleeping beside her, Destiny would cry. Silent, exhausted tears nobody would see. She'd agreed to give Taewoo an heir in exchange for money. She'd never agreed to this. 5 weeks in, Taewoo finally appeared. Destiny was in the courtyard with Isaiah, enjoying rare sunshine, when she heard the voice that made her heart stop. He's gotten so big. She spun around. Taewoo stood at the entrance, flanked by 2 guards. He looked thinner, exhausted. A healing bruise on his jaw she didn't remember. Taewoo. His name came out as a sob. She wanted to run to him, but something in his posture stopped her. He approached slowly, his eyes locked on Isaiah. When he was close enough, he reached out, gently touched his son's cheek. Isaiah gurgled happily, grabbing his father's finger. I've missed 2 months of his life, Taewoo said, his voice raw. They wouldn't let me call, wouldn't let me visit. I tried everything. I know. It's not your fault. He finally looked at her, and the pain in his eyes was unbearable. Are they treating you well? They're training me, breaking me down, building me into something I don't recognize. I'm sorry, I never wanted this for you. What did they do to you? That bruise? Nothing, I didn't survive. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. The consortium needed to remind me that I'm not as untouchable as I thought. That Isaiah's future depends on their approval, not mine. This is insane. We should disappear. Take Isaiah and just go. There's nowhere they wouldn't find us. His hand cupped her face. And running would mark Isaiah as illegitimate forever. Every enemy I've made would hunt him. At least this way, he has the consortium's protection. At what cost? Everything. He leaned his forehead against hers. But he's worth it. You're both worth it. I don't know if I can do this. They want me to become someone I'm not. Then become someone new, someone stronger. His voice dropped. I need you to survive this, Destiny. I can't do this without you. You did fine before I came along. No, I didn't. I was building an empire with nobody to leave it to. No reason to care if it lasted beyond my death. His eyes filled with tears. You gave me a reason. You and Isaiah. Don't take that away now. She kissed him then, desperate, pouring all her fear and frustration and love into that moment. When they pulled apart, both were crying. How much longer? She whispered. 4 more weeks, and then the formal ceremony. If you pass, if they accept you, we can be together properly, as a family. And if I don't pass? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. They sat in the courtyard for 2 hours, barely talking, just existing together while Isaiah played with his father's watch. Then the guards came to take Taewoo away. I love you, he said at the door. The first time he'd ever said those words. I love you too. The first time she'd admitted it out loud. Then he was gone, and Destiny was alone again with her son and her fear. The final week before the ceremony, Grandmother Bayek summoned her. The meeting room was different this time, smaller, more intimate. Tea laid out between them. Sit, Grandmother Bayek commanded. Destiny obeyed, Isaiah sleeping in a carrier against her chest. You've exceeded expectations, Grandmother Bayek said. Jean reports you're competent with firearms now. Dr. Huang says your business protocol is acceptable. You've learned quickly. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, the real test hasn't begun. The ceremony. No, the ceremony is theater. Important theater, but theater. Grandmother Beck poured tea with steady hands. I'm talking about the test I mentioned on your first day, the one that determines if you truly belong. Destiny's blood ran cold. When? Could be tomorrow, could be next year, but it will come. Her eyes bore into Destiny's. And when it does, you'll have seconds to make a choice that defines everything. What kind of choice? I won't tell you that, but I'll give you advice. Her expression softened slightly. In our world, there are no good choices, only necessary ones. The people who survive are those who can make necessary choices without hesitation, then live with the consequences without breaking. That sounds like hell. It is, but it's also power, real power. She sipped her tea. Your son will need a mother with that kind of power. So will Chairman Shin. And if I can't be that person? Then you'll fail. And failure means something inside you dies. You become a decoration, a liability. Grandmother Bayek stood. One more thing. I knew Chairman Shin's mother. Beautiful woman, strong. But she couldn't make necessary choices when they mattered. It destroyed her. She left Destiny alone with her tea and her terror. The recognition ceremony was held in the main ballroom. All 7 families sent representatives. Some Destiny recognized. Others were new faces, younger but no less dangerous. She wore a dress Dr. Huang selected. Elegant but understated. Expensive but not flashy. Her hair was perfect. Makeup flawless. She looked like she belonged. She felt like an imposter. Taewoo stood at the front, and when their eyes met, she saw the same fear reflected back. Grandmother Beck called the room to order. We gather to formally recognize Isaiah Shin as the legitimate heir to the Shin Resort Empire, and to acknowledge Destiny Cole as his mother and Chairman Shin's partner. Partner, not wife. The distinction was deliberate. The child has been verified. DNA confirms his lineage. He carries the Shin bloodline and legacy. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. The mother has been evaluated. She's demonstrated competence, adaptability, and loyalty. While her background is unconventional, she's proven capable of learning our ways. More murmurs, some approving, some skeptical. Therefore, the consortium recognizes this union and this child. Any who contest may speak now. Silence. Destiny held her breath. Then, from the back, a voice. I contest. Every head turned. A man stepped forward, mid-40s, handsome in a brutal way, scar running down his neck. Who are you? Taewoo's voice was deadly quiet. Someone who represents families that weren't consulted? Someone who questions whether this child should inherit anything? The man moved closer. On what grounds do we accept an heir whose mother has no family legacy, no business experience, no connection to our world? On the grounds that he's Chairman Shin's son, Grandmother Beck said sharply. The consortium has decided. The consortium can be challenged. The man's smile was cold. Ancient protocol. When the ruling is disputed, blood decides. You're proposing trial by combat? Taewoo stepped forward. Fine. Name your terms. My champion against yours. Winner determines the child's legitimacy. I'll fight. Taewoo started removing his jacket. Right now? Wait. Destiny's voice cut through the room. Every eye turned to her. She stepped forward, her heart pounding so hard, she thought it might explode. If this is about Isaiah's legitimacy, about whether I'm worthy to be his mother, then I should be the one to defend him. Dead silence. Destiny, no. Taewoo started. I'll fight your champion. She looked the scarred man in the eye. You want to prove I don't belong? Prove it. Beat me, and I'll leave. I'll give up my son, take the money, disappear forever. Her voice strengthened. But if I win, you acknowledge Isaiah. You accept me, and you never question his legitimacy again. The man laughed. You fight me? That's suicide. Maybe, but it's my choice. Grandmother Beck studied her with those ancient, calculating eyes. You understand what you're proposing? This isn't sparring. This is to death or submission. Blood will be spilled. I understand. You've trained for 8 weeks. He's been a fighter for 30 years. I know. Then why? Destiny looked at Isaiah, sleeping peacefully in Jian's arms now. Because he's my son, and I'll die before I let anyone take him from me. Grandmother Beck smiled, actually smiled. I wondered when this would come. Your test, Miss Cole. It arrived sooner than expected. She turned to the crowd. Very well. Trial by combat. Tomorrow night. Destiny Cole versus Kwon Dae-jung. To submission or death. The winner determines the child's fate. The room erupted. Taewoo pushed through, grabbed Destiny's shoulders. Are you insane? He'll kill you? Then train me. I have 24 hours. Make me ready. 24 hours isn't enough. It has to be. She gripped his arms. Because if I don't fight, I lose anyway. At least this way I go down swinging. His eyes searched hers, desperate, terrified. Then he nodded. Okay. We train all night. We don't sleep. We don't stop. And we pray it's enough. One more thing. Destiny turned to the crowd. When I win, not if, when. I want an apology from every person here who thought I wasn't good enough. Who thought my son was less than. Who thought I was just the help. Kwon Dae-jung sneered. And if you lose? Then I guess you'll never know what it feels like to be beaten by a hotel manager. She walked out, head high, Taewoo at her side, the sound of shocked whispers following like thunder. Jin found her in the training room an hour later. I heard what you did. That was either the bravest or stupidest thing I've witnessed. Probably both. Destiny wrapped her hands for practice. Will you help me? Help you what? Survive against Kwon? Jian shook her head. He's killed men twice his size. He fights dirty. No rules. No mercy. Then teach me to fight dirtier. Jian studied her for a long moment, then smiled. All right. If you're determined to die tomorrow, let's at least make it memorable. They trained through the night. Taewoo brought every fighter he trusted. They showed her weak points, vulnerable areas, how to use her smaller size as an advantage, how to absorb hits and keep moving, how to kill if necessary. I don't know if I can do that, Destiny admitted as dawn broke. Actually kill someone. Then you've already lost, Jian said bluntly, because he won't hesitate. The second you show mercy, he'll end you. Taewoo knelt in front of her. I know what I'm asking. I know this goes against everything you are. But if you want to see Isaiah grow up, if you want to be his mother and not a memory, you have to be willing to do what he does. Destiny closed her eyes. She thought about her father who'd battled cancer with every ounce of strength. She thought about every person who dismissed her, looked down on her, treated her like she didn't matter. She thought about Isaiah, her son, her everything. Okay, she whispered. Teach me how to win. The fight was scheduled for midnight. The ballroom transformed into an arena. Furniture removed, a mat in the center, spectators in a circle around it. Every family representative was there. Every person with a stake in the outcome. Destiny entered, wearing simple clothes. No protection, just her and what she'd learned. Kwon Dae-jung stood across from her, shirtless, his body covered in scars that told stories of violence survived. Last chance to run, he called out. I'll make it quick, relatively painless. I'm not running. Grandmother Beck stepped into the circle. The rules are simple. Fight until one submits or dies. No weapons beyond your body, no interference. The winner's decision regarding the child is final. She looked at both fighters. Begin. Kwon moved first. He was fast, faster than Destiny expected. His fist drove toward her face with lethal intent. She barely dodged, felt the wind from his punch. He followed immediately, a combination that drove her backward. She blocked what she could, but several hits landed. Pain exploded across her ribs, her shoulder. The crowd gasped. Too slow, Kwon taunted. This won't take long. Destiny circled, remembering everything she'd learned. Use his momentum, stay mobile, don't get cornered. He lunged again. This time, she was ready. She sidestepped, grabbed his extended arm, used his forward motion to throw him off balance. He stumbled, but recovered instantly, spinning with a back fist that caught her across the cheek. Stars exploded in her vision. Blood filled her mouth. She spit it out and smiled. That all you got? His eyes narrowed. You want more? I'll give you more. He came at her like a storm, fists and feet flying in combinations she had no hope of fully blocking. She took hits to the body, the head, the legs. Each one sent shockwaves of pain through her system. But she kept moving, kept fighting, kept refusing to go down. Stay down! Kwon roared after a brutal combination sent her sprawling. Destiny pushed herself up, her body screaming in protest. Across the crowd, she saw Taewoo's face, pale, terrified. She saw Isaiah in Jian's arms, still sleeping. She saw Grandmother Beck watching with calculating interest. Not yet, Destiny gasped. Not done yet. She had one advantage, one thing Kwon didn't know. She was willing to lose everything except her son. And that made her more dangerous than he could imagine. Now listen, if you've made it this far, I need you to smash that subscribe button, because what happens next in this fight? Nobody sees it coming. Comment Team Destiny if you're on her side. Hit that like button because this ending will blow your mind. Kwon circled her like a predator who knew his prey was wounded. You've got heart, I'll give you that, but heart doesn't win fights. He rushed her again. This time, Destiny didn't try to block or dodge. She moved forward, inside his guard, accepting a crushing blow to her shoulder to get close enough to drive her thumb into his throat. Not hard enough to kill, just hard enough to make him gag, to disrupt his breathing, to create one moment of hesitation. In that moment, she drove her knee into his groin with every ounce of strength she had left. He dropped, not down, but to one knee, his face contorted in pain. Dirty, he wheezed. I fight to win. She kicked him in the face, felt his nose break under her foot. He grabbed her leg, twisted, and she went down hard. They grappled on the mat, all technique abandoned. Just two people trying to survive with whatever they could reach. He got on top of her, his hands around her throat. Should have run, he gasped, blood from his broken nose dripping onto her face. Should have taken the money. Her vision started to go black. She thought of Isaiah. She thought of Taewoo. She thought of her father fighting cancer in Seattle. And she stopped trying to pry his hands away. Instead, she drove her fingers into the pressure points on his wrists, exactly where Jian taught her. And when his grip loosened for just a second, she bucked her hips, rolled, got her legs around his neck. Squeezed. He tried to pull free, but she locked her ankles, used her whole body weight. Tap out, she gasped. Tap out, or pass out. He clawed at her legs, tried to punch her, but she held on, held on, held on. His movements slowed, weakened, stopped. She released him immediately, rolling away, gasping for air. He lay there, unconscious but breathing. The room went silent. Destiny struggled to her feet, swaying, barely able to stand. Get up, she said to Kwon's unconscious form. Get up and fight. He didn't move. A doctor rushed forward, checked his pulse, his breathing. He's alive, the doctor announced. Unconscious but alive. The tension shattered. Some people cheered. Others looked disgusted. Most looked shocked. Destiny's legs gave out. Taewoo caught her before she hit the ground. I won, she mumbled into his chest. I won. You won. His voice broke. You insane, beautiful, terrifying woman. You won. Grandmother Bayek approached, looking at Destiny with something that might have been respect. Isaiah Shin is legitimate, she announced to the room. Destiny Cole has proven herself worthy. Any who disagree can take it up with me personally. No one disagreed. Get her to medical, Grandmother Beck ordered, and someone wake that fool up. He'll live to regret challenging her. As they carried Destiny away, she saw Jian holding Isaiah, who was finally awake and crying. Bring him, Destiny whispered. Need to hold my son. They brought him to her in the medical wing where doctors assessed her injuries. 3 cracked ribs, fractured orbital bone, severe bruising, mild concussion. But alive. She held Isaiah with her one good arm, tears streaming down her face. Hey baby, she whispered. Mama fought for you. Mama won. Taewoo sat beside her, holding both of them. I love you, he said. I've never been more terrified in my life. But I love you so much. I love you too. She looked at him through her swollen eyes. But if you ever ask me to do something like that again, I'm taking Isaiah and running to a country where nobody's ever heard of resort empires. He laughed, desperate and relieved. Deal. No more death matches. Good. They sat in silence, the three of them, a family forged in violence and desperation and love. Outside the medical wing, the consortium dispersed. Inside, Destiny closed her eyes and let herself believe, just for a moment, that maybe they'd actually survive this world. That maybe their family had a chance. That maybe love really was stronger than blood and violence and tradition. 3 days later, Destiny was released from medical. Still bruised, still aching, but walking. Grandmother Beck summoned her to the gardens. How are you feeling? The old woman asked. Like I got hit by a truck. You fought well, better than I expected. Grandmother Beck poured tea with steady hands. You passed your test. That was the test? Nearly getting killed? The test was seeing if you'd sacrifice yourself for your son, if you'd fight when every logical choice said to run. She handed Destiny a cup. You did. That tells me everything I need to know. So what now? Now you go home. You, Chairman Shin, and Isaiah. The consortium recognizes your family. You have our protection. Grandmother Bayek's eyes hardened. But understand, protection comes with expectations. You'll attend family functions. You'll represent the Shin Empire properly. You'll raise Isaiah to understand his responsibilities. And if we don't, then protection becomes surveillance, and surveillance becomes something worse. She sipped her tea. But I don't think that will be necessary. You've proven you understand what matters. Family, loyalty, survival. Destiny set down her teacup. Can I ask you something? You may ask. Why did you really do all this? The training, the ceremony, the fight? What was the point? Grandmother Beck was quiet for a long moment. Because I've seen what happens when women enter our world unprepared. They break. They become victims. They get themselves and their children killed. She looked at Destiny directly. I didn't want that for you. Or for Isaiah. So I broke you down and built you back up into someone who could survive. Someone who could protect your son when the real dangers come. The real dangers? You mean there are worse things than death matches? Much worse. Grandmother Beck's expression was grave. The consortium has enemies. Rivals who would love to see the Shin Empire fall. And now that Isaiah is recognized, he's a target. A very valuable target. Destiny's blood ran cold. What kind of target? The kind that gets kidnapped for ransom, or killed to send messages, or used as leverage against Chairman Shin. She stood. But you're ready now. You can fight. You can protect him. You won't freeze when danger comes. You made me a weapon. I made you a mother who can keep her child alive. Grandmother Beck moved toward the exit, then paused. One more thing. There's a car waiting to take you home. Inside, you'll find documents, legal protections for Isaiah, trust funds, emergency contacts, everything you need. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just survive. Raise your son well. And remember, the consortium is watching, always. She left. And Destiny sat alone in the garden, holding Isaiah, wondering what kind of life she'd chosen for them. The drive back to Seoul took 3 hours. Taewoo sat beside her, holding her hand, neither of them speaking much. Isaiah slept peacefully in his car seat, completely unaware of everything that happened. What are you thinking? Taewoo finally asked. I'm thinking about what Grandmother Beck said, about dangers coming, about Isaiah being a target. Destiny's grip tightened on his hand. I'm thinking about how I agreed to give you an heir for money, and somehow I ended up here, fighting for my life, becoming someone I barely recognize. Do you regret it? She looked at Isaiah, then at Taewoo. No, but I'm terrified of what comes next. So am I. He pulled her closer. But we'll face it together. No more secrets, no more being kept apart. Just us, our family. Promise? Promise. They arrived at the penthouse as the sun was setting. New security was already in place. Taewoo's team, enhanced by consortium resources. Minsu's replacement bowed respectfully. Welcome home, ma'am. Home. The word felt strange, but also right. Destiny carried Isaiah inside while Taewoo dealt with the security briefing. She walked through the penthouse that felt both familiar and foreign. So much had changed in 8 weeks. She'd changed. In the nursery, she laid Isaiah in his crib, watched him sleep. I don't know what I'm doing, she whispered to him. I don't know how to be the mother you need in this world, but I'll figure it out. I promise I'll keep you safe. Arms wrapped around her from behind. Taewoo. You're already the mother he needs, he murmured. You fought for him. You bled for him. You became something you never wanted to be, all for him. I'm scared. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. He turned her to face him. But you're not alone. Not anymore. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Together, she repeated. They stood there, the three of them, in the nursery that cost more than most people's homes, in a penthouse that overlooked a city full of people who wanted to destroy them. And somehow, impossibly, Destiny felt something like peace. Maybe they would survive this world. Maybe their family would make it. Maybe... Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her look. A text message. No words. Just a photo. Of Isaiah. Taken from outside the penthouse window. Taken tonight. Destiny's blood turned to ice. Another message came through. We're watching. Always watching. The game isn't over, Destiny. It's just beginning. A friend. She showed Taewoo. His face went pale, then hard. Call security. Now. Full lockdown. He pulled out his own phone, started making calls. Within minutes, the penthouse was swarming with guards. Sweeping for surveillance, checking the perimeter, locking down every access point. But the damage was done. Someone had gotten close enough to photograph Isaiah. Someone was watching. Someone wanted them to know. Who? Destiny asked, her voice shaking. Who would do this? I don't know. Taewoo's jaw was tight. But we'll find out. And when we do? He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Later that night, after Isaiah was asleep, after security had swept everything twice, after Taewoo made a dozen calls to the consortium and his own network, Destiny stood at the window looking out at Seoul. The city sparkled below, beautiful and indifferent. Somewhere out there, someone was planning something. Someone who knew about Isaiah. Someone who'd gotten past consortium security. Someone patient enough to wait until they felt safe before striking. And Destiny realized with cold clarity that Grandmother Bayek was right. The fight in the ballroom wasn't the real test. That was just training. The real test was coming, and this time, there would be no rules. No referees. No controlled environment. Just survival. She looked back at Isaiah's nursery door. I won't let them take you, she whispered. I don't care who they are or what they want. You're mine, and I'll burn this entire city down before I let anyone hurt you. Behind her, Taewoo's arms wrapped around her waist. We'll protect him, he said. Both of us. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, she echoed. But in her heart, Destiny knew the truth. The battle for Isaiah's legitimacy was over. The war for his life was just beginning. And somewhere in Seoul's shadows, someone was already planning their next move. All right, besties, this is where part 2 ends. If you want part 3, then flood those comments with part 3 now. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and get ready because the next part is going to reveal who's been watching from the shadows this whole time. And when you find out who it is, it's going to blow your mind. This is Seoul Heart Stories, and we're just getting started.